All right, well, this is going to be an interesting video. Always felt like there's a lot of content on a farm that would make good YouTube videos. Unfortunately, sometimes there's some content, things happen that you dread and you really don't look forward to. Kind of starting this video after what had happened. I got a few short minutes of the combine fire, so I didn't have the GoPro with me that day or anything, and was kind of panicked. So this is going to be a little bit out of order, so I'm making this video to kind of catch everybody up to date as far as what happened. I was cutting beans the other day, kind of switched over a few days before that, and been going along pretty good, cutting beans. Went to a football game, my son's football game, Saturday morning, and then got out to the farm, got the combine ready, all blown off and everything, washed the windows, greased everything you normally do to get the combine ready to go for the day. And first hopper, I'm going along good, and I get full, and so I stop the combine, disengage everything. I'm just kind of letting it cool down for a minute because I'm going to leave it out in the field while I walk up to get the grain cart. Very, very dusty conditions. We are super dry in mid-Missouri right now. It's hard to even combine to see where you're going, cutting beans to stay on the row. So I'm sitting there, and dust is kind of blowing off the machine for the first second or two, and then all of a sudden, like, I see another bunch of white, what I thought was dust at first, but end up being smoke. I kind of thought it was strange to see that, almost a minute after I had turned off the rotor. Hop out, run around the back of the combine, and I see the ground's on fire, the back axle, there's chaff on top of the axle that's on fire. I kind of knock it off real quick. I run up, grab the fire extinguisher, kind of spray the combine off, the back axle area off real quick. I get most of it out, but I can't get everything on the ground. It's spreading quickly. It was a little bit breezy that day, and was kind of blowing into the uncut beans pretty quickly. So I hop back into the combine. I go to move the combine off of the ground that is on fire, and I make it kind of off that area and turn it around, and about that time I lose steering. I guess it had kind of started to burn through the hydraulic hoses for the steering cylinder on the back axle. Well, I get it off the fire area, I call in the fire department, let them know that I've got a combine on fire, the field's on fire, and I'm still trying to put out the fire. In the meantime, there's just like little bits of chaff that are smoldering all over the whole area back there. It's amazing how fast that stuff builds up, even from one hop. This is, like I said, my first hopper of the day after having the whole machine blown off. So I'm continually, sticking the fire extinguisher in little areas, pulling little bits of chaff out of nooks and crannies, and clearing off, other stuff. And eventually the fire department shows up very quickly. I can hear them coming from the next town over almost right away. They get there, I kind of spray off the combine area that had been on fire there quickly. Then he moves on to the field, and the field ended up, I think we lost 5 or 6 acres of soybeans. Luckily, they got it under control before it kind of got into the woods and timber and stuff. So thankful for everybody who showed up. Had neighbors, had fellow farmers, all kinds of volunteer firemen on a Saturday from all over the rural area showed up and helped get it out and under control. I had a neighbor kid farmer showed up, and he ran me up to the barn. I hooked up a tractor to the disc real quick. On my way out there in a hurry, I went to downshift the tractor to put it in the low side to kind of get ready to disc, and the shifter broke while I was in the high side, like basically road gear. So it was stuck in first high side, which is a little too fast for that tractor to disc in. I managed to get it going. My options is that or first low gear, which I'm basically going like 1 mile an hour. That's not going to get it done as fast as what I needed to. So, just pulling the hell out of the tractor with this disc, trying to get it knocked down. They did an amazing job of getting the fire controlled and mostly out. By the time I got there at the disc was like the nail in the coffin, so to speak. It really kind of snuffed out all the areas that were kind of still smoldering just a little bit. So a lot of excitement. It was my first combine fire, so to speak. Nobody ever wants to deal with that. Everybody always does all the preparations they can to make sure that that doesn't happen. Still not completely sure what went on there, what caused it. You start looking all over, and an older machine, you just there's so many things you look at and like, oh well, that could have rubbed that and sparked something. A rock could have went through the chopper and sparked off a blade. It's a very odd spot where it ended up catching was that chaff on top of the rear axle, which is below the sieves and everything. Nothing in the sieves, nothing inside the combine we could ever, in the rotor area, we could ever tell that it caught fire. This is Saturday. Sunday, I just kind of parked the machine. I knew that I really, not knowing what caused it, I didn't want to get out and start running it again. So I waited till today, Monday, had the dealership come, and they started kind of, tearing into it, turning everything on, watching everything move. Found one big pulley on the side of the combine that I think that shaft runs like your bed augers and what else did he say? Shaker and stuff like that, I believe. He thought that had a little play in it, so turn everything off, take that pulley off, and sure enough, that bearing was shot. It's definitely glad to find that and to feel like that possibly could have been the issue. It's still in a very strange spot for where the fire was. It's the opposite kind of side of the combine, further up. Like I said, the wind was kind of blowing that day, so it's possible that something off of that bearing sparked and kind of the wind whipped it around, and that's where it landed on the shaft on the rear axle. Just a very uneasy feeling, not knowing for sure what caused it, because you definitely don't want to get out there, start running, and have it happen again. Don't know what else to say about that. So what I was able to get was probably about a 2-minute version of me panicked, running around, trying to put it out. A lot of, the phone not being down at the ground or my pant leg or something like that. So I apologize for that, but really wasn't so much concerned about getting a great video as I was wanting to get the fire out. And stressful. First time I'd ever dealt with anything like that. So that's what's going to be in this video. Apologize that it was not better quality, but like I said, it's not what you're trying to do when you're trying to get a fire out and keep it from spreading. But managed to get just a few minutes. May have some pictures and stuff that I'll add in. I guess I'll hop out real quick and show you the bearing. Okay, right there, you can clearly see that dude is out, and it had been rubbing. Maybe even had a little bit of a smolder there at some point from something, either that day or another time, I don't know. But that is definitely an issue. getting that fixed. For that big pulley right there. A few other things we noticed. This idler pulley here doesn't sound too good, a little loose. Gonna do that. There's a chain, which he's not too sure if that had anything to do with it, but this big chain up here for your clean green elevator, he said that was shot, and it is kind of rough, and I don't know if I can get a good spot of it, but you can see up there that chain gets very close. It's stretched and it's starting to just make contact with that nut up there, that bolt, so that will definitely spark if it gets too close to that. Possibly could have been that. Not sure. The fire was actually over in this area from the opposite side of the combine. Had a bunch of chaff that was built up on top of that axle there, kind of sitting right in this area on top of the steering cylinder. Got it all out. Like I said, I put these no hoses on this morning. Went to Napa and had those made. The other ones were leaking. I'm not sure. Hopefully the seal didn't damage any of the seals inside internally in there. Melted this apron on the back there. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can see that was above it that was on fire. Nothing internally. Something ended up right there to start that fire. I've been looking all over this area up here, trying to find something that could have sparked it. I don't know. It's just makes you paranoid for sure. What could have caused it, where it could have came from. So yeah, I'll add in the little clip of what I got, and be our first combine fire video. So here you go. Stuff's still trying to smolder on the ground here. I don't see anything up in there that's on fire. Boy, that's smoking it from up in there. That truck there. There he is. Ouch. Still trying to go. Down there. I can't tell if it's... where it's coming from. Oh, shit. I hope it's out. the aftermath. Everybody's gone. Burnt probably 5 or 6 acres of soybeans. Was able to get it out on the combine and save the combine for the most part. There's a little apron on the back that's burned, and the steering cylinder hose on the back axle must be burned enough. I lost steering. It's leaking. For some reason that hydraulic fluid didn't catch fire. Was lucky there, but sorry, got a bunch of dust in my lungs. But show you the burned area here real quick. I cannot figure out what started it. I had filled up with beans and was going to leave the machine out here in the field while I walked up to go get the grain cart, and turned everything on, the rotor and everything off, and sitting there waiting for it to cool down for a minute before I shut the machine off to go get the grain cart. And I saw what I thought for a second was dust kind of blowing off the machine, which is so dry and dusty, but it's like, no, it's been too long. I've had everything shut off too long. There's not that much dust that can still be blowing. So I hopped out, and the ground was on fire. The back axle was on fire. I knocked that piece off, that big pile of chaff that was on fire, off. The way that the flames were blowing towards that area here, that apron and the steering cylinder, and was able to knock that off and put the rest out with the fire extinguisher. The spot on the ground was burning, and that's why I pulled the machine off of that spot. Luckily, before I lost steering, and but the rest of the field caught fire, and that's it. That's the excitement. I am at a loss as to what started it. That's the scariest part. I'm gonna have to wait to have the dealership or something come do an inspection and see if there's something, bearing or chain, who knows. It could be anything. I cannot figure out what started it. I know that the bearings here in the back for those spreaders are bad about going out and starting fires, but it did not start up there, and I replaced those bearings right before I started cutting beans, which I've probably cut about 140 acres of beans. Bearings are still good. I've looked at them, looked all over. I cannot figure out where this spark came from that started it. So scary deal, bad deal. It's frustrating. So yeah, see what we find out when the dealership comes.